What is up, guys, and what is that, I hear you ask? Yes, that is gameplay coming from my channel. Finally, Sony, of course, with the most recent update, took off the HDCP block, so you guys can use external game capture devices now. I'm using my Elgato that I used to use for my PS3 gameplay, so it's good that I can finally use it now on PS4 very easily. I'm going to be able to give you lots of gameplay, and it will just make my channel a little bit more interesting, of course. Now, as you can see, today I'm giving you some amazing Spider-Man 2 gameplay. I didn't know if you saw my video a couple of days ago. I unboxed it. I was looking forward to the game. Of course, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago now that the Spider-Man games are my guilty pleasure games. I tend to like all of them, but at the same time I know they're not good games. I know that they're not well received. And I know they're never going to set the world alight or anything, and they're sort of just like a movie cash-in. But that doesn't stop me from liking them. I always like them. I always have a great time with them, and I just think they're really fun. So I thought I'd do a video today doing not a proper review, because I'm gonna, from now on with the PS4 era, I'm gonna save my reviews for kind of big games that everyone's talking about, whereas something like this not many people are kind of too into, so my reviews will be a bit more laid back, a little bit like this, how I'm doing now, some gameplay with my thoughts. Of course, I haven't finished the game yet either, so I will do a separate video in the future once I finish the game, giving you my final verdict on it. But yeah, I am enjoying this game. As you can see, I don't know if you can see there, the combat on this game is very much like the Batman games, but a lot less sort of detailed, a bit scaled down. It's like they really have taken a lot of inspiration from the Batman games in this, but they really haven't managed to pull it off too well. There is some stealth portions in the game as well, which I haven't recorded gameplay of just yet. But it's very, very similar to Batman's night vision mode, where you can kind of look through the walls, the X-ray vision. Spider-Man has his spider sense, and he can see enemy outlines through walls and crawl through the shadows and stealth takedowns and things. It really, really is heavily inspired by the Batman games, you can tell. So at least they are looking at those games for inspiration, because that's what they need to do. I think, how awesome would it be to have like a really good Spider-Man game that is as good as those Arkham games? And I think slowly but surely they're getting there, but really it is going to take a little bit more time. I think the main selling point for this game for me so far is what you can see now. Free roaming around New York City is the fun selling point for me. That's why I buy these games, because I like that free roam aspect. But there is kind of a little down point as well. The thing I don't really like is the city is really kind of, it's not boring, but it's lifeless. New York City, of course, as you know, is the most well-known, busiest city in the world. Everything's going on. Wherever you look, there's things going on, and it just seems a little lifeless, this New York. I feel like they could have really done a bit more with it, especially places like Times Square in there. It just seems a little bit down, where it should be over the top and big and lights everywhere and things. But that's just a small gripe with me. The new style of gameplay is good. I played the first Amazing Spider-Man when the first movie was released. One of the big new features in this as well, that each L2 and R2 on the PS4 controller, probably the same on the other controllers, control each of Spider-Man's hands. So the left trigger will just web swing with his left hand, and the right trigger with his right hand, and it really does work very well. I think they've really hit the nail on the head there with the swinging. I think they really have nailed kind of free roaming in New York in this. I think the thing that lets this game down a little bit is when you take it to the ground and you do a hand-to-hand combat and you're doing missions, because on this game, obviously the free roam is the huge portion of the game. There is a lot to do. There's side missions, there's things as you're seeing here. This is like a side mission, just an extra kind of petty crime that's going on. This isn't one of the main missions, so these are going on throughout the whole city. But you do have the main missions, which takes you away from New York, so you kind of go into Oscorp, you go into other buildings, and these are the missions that are really kind of set out as a real proper level design with a boss at the end of the level. And when it comes to those, the game does turn into a very generic sort of action platformer, which does feel quite dated. I have to admit, when Spider-Man is on the floor, it doesn't feel new. It feels very old. It feels sort of like 6-7 years old. And obviously this is the PS4 version as well, so it looks okay, but I do have to admit the visuals are a little bit dated when you look at games like Infamous Second Son and you see what the PS4 can do, it is a shame to see that they aren't kind of as up to scratch as you would hope. But that doesn't mean it's an ugly game. It is a nice looking game when you're swinging around New York. But when you go up close to people or certain objects in the city, it does seem a bit sort of jagged. But I am enjoying it. Like I said, it is a fun game, and for me, I am going to enjoy it because it's my guilty pleasure. Like I said, Spider-Man games are my thing. I do like to play all of them. But I do know that they're not sort of the best games in the world, so I just thought I'd do a quick video giving you guys sort of my first impressions on it, and I will do a video once I've fully completed the game giving you sort of my final verdict as well. So yeah guys, leave your comments down below on what you think of this game. Let me know if you've played any of it or what you think of the gameplay you're seeing today. And yeah, that's about it for this video. Thank you for watching. Thank God we can finally get a gameplay back up there, so expect a lot of gameplay from a lot of my games over time. And that's about it for this video guys, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.
None of it proven, but still, are these the people we want to trust with this kind of power?